Children's literature plays an important role in shaping the minds and values of our youth. But with so many issues and concerns facing children and adolescents today, how can we ensure that the books they read are not only entertaining but also informative and responsible? Children's literature has the power to shape children's attitudes towards themselves, others, and the world around them. That's why it's so important for authors and publishers to be aware of the impact their books can have on young readers. Join us for a thought-provoking panel discussion on the issues and concerns in children and adolescent literature. Our panel of experts will discuss the impact of literature on children's mental health, the importance of diversity and representation in children's books, and the role of literature in educating children on important social issues. Our panelists will also discuss the role of parents and caregivers in guiding children's reading choices and how to approach difficult or sensitive topics in children's literature. Whether you're a parent, educator, or simply interested in the world of children's literature, this panel discussion is a must-see event. Join us for a lively and informative discussion on the issues and concerns in children and adolescent literature. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this panel discussion on the issues and concerns in children and adolescent literature. In today's world, children and adolescents are exposed to a wide range of literary works, including books, comics, and graphic novels. These works can play a vital role in shaping the moral, emotional, and intellectual development of young readers. However, the content of these works can also be a source of concern for parents, educators, and society at large. In this discussion, we'll explore some of the issues and concerns surrounding children and adolescent literature. We'll hear from our invited panelists from the OLLC of Valenzuela, and we'll delve into topics like age-appropriate content, diversity and representation, censorship, and the impact of technology on reading habits. I'm honored to be joined by 8 distinguished panelists. Let's begin by introducing ourselves. I'm Lizelle Villa, and I'll be moderating this discussion.
Hello, I'm J. Sylviana Libase.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Carlos.
Hello, I am Rachel Jordan-Brest.
Hello, I'm Vanessa.
Hello everyone, I am Eunice Lamini Corte.
Hello, I'm Roslyn Manga.
Hello, I'm Angel Tayoto.
Hi, I'm Angela Tahara White.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. So without further ado, let's get started with the first question. What are some of the biggest issues and concerns facing children and adolescent literature today?
One of the biggest concerns is the lack of diversity in children's books. Many books still features predominantly white, male, and able-bodied characters, despite the fact that children of all backgrounds need to see themselves represented in literature.
I agree. Another concern is the pressure to conform to certain genres or themes in order to appeal to a broad audience. So this can lead to the same tired tropes being repeated over and over again rather than exploring new and exciting topics.
I'm concerned about the way that books are marketed to children. Often, publishers will use gendered language or stereotypes to sell books, which can be harmful and limiting for young readers.
From my perspective, we know that literature can have a profound impact on children's development. But there are concerns about the effects of certain types of literature, such as violent or sexually explicit content on young readers.
So, I'm concerned about the lack of support for emerging authors and diverse voices in the industry. We need to create more opportunities for underrepresented groups to get their work published.
You know what? I'm concerned about the message that children are internalizing from the books they read, and we need to make sure that the books we're giving them are promoting positive values and ideas.
I'm concerned about the way that literature is being used in the classroom. We need to make sure that we are providing up a variety of books that challenge and inspire students, rather than just using a books as a way to reinforce the status quo.
I'm concerned about the pressure to make books profitable. Sometimes this can lead to a focus on purely books that are designed to sell rather than books that are truly innovative and inspiring.
Thank you all for sharing your perspectives. I will temporarily cut this panel discussion for our infomercial. We will be back in a minute.
Most children's films are a dime a dozen, but then along comes something like Coraline. Based on Neil Gaiman's beloved novel, Coraline has developed a reputation for not only being an excellent animated film, but one of the absolute creepiest. Just look at some of these moments. Ugh. In the spirit of the Halloween season, let's dig a little deeper into the film version of Coraline.
You could find our eyes.
To determine what exactly makes it so dang freaky. So you want to know the real reason why Coraline is so creepy? Truth be told, it's all Neil Gaiman's fault. The story did, after all, come from the prolific author's twisted mind.
Good afternoon again, everyone, and welcome back to our panel discussion on issues and concerns in children and adolescent literature. Our second topic for the discussion is age-appropriate content. So what are your thoughts on this issue, and how can we ensure that children and adolescents are reading material that is appropriate for their age and maturity level?
Well, I think it is important to keep in mind that children and adolescents develop at different rates. What might be appropriate for one child might not be appropriate for another. So it's important to have guidelines in place that helps parents and educators make informed decisions about what children should be reading. So for example, the American Library Association has a list of age-appropriate books that can be a useful resources for parents and educators.
I agree that guidelines are important, but we also need to recognize that children and adolescents are curious and may seek out material that is beyond their age level. As such, it's important to have open and honest conversations with young readers about what they are reading and to provide them with context and guidance.
Our next topic for discussion is diversity and representation in children and adolescent literature. So how can we ensure that young readers are exposed to diverse perspectives and experiences in the books they read?
Well, one way to ensure diversity is to actively seek out books by authors from underrepresented groups. Publishers, librarians, and educators all have a role to play in promoting diverse literature and making it available to young readers.
Additionally, it is important to be mindful of the content of the books we are promoting. Diversity isn't just about the identity of the author, but it is also about the characters and the storylines in the books themselves. We need to make sure that we are promoting literature that accurately represent the experience of underrepresented groups.
So our next topic for discussion is censorship. How can we balance the need to protect children from potentially harmful material with the need to promote freedom of expression and access to information?
I think it's important to acknowledge that censorship is a complex issue with no easy answer. However, I believe that the best approach is to provide the young readers with the tools that they need to make informed decisions about what they read. So that means providing them with the context and guidance and trusting them to make their own decisions.
And I agree with that. We need to trust young readers, but we also need to recognize that some material may be inappropriate for certain age group. That is why it's important to have a clear guidelines in place and involve the parents and educator in decision-making process. And it made it easier for young people to access a wide range of literature. However, they are also concerned that technology has led to decline in traditional reading habits, such as what we call the reading print books.
I think it is important to recognize that technology is here to stay and we need to embrace it as a tool to promote literacy. We can use technology to create engaging reading experiences such as interactive ebooks and book-related apps.
At the same time, we need to be mindful of potential downside of technology. For example, there are concerns that screen time can have negative effects on young people's cognitive and emotional development. We need to find a balance between promoting the benefits of technology while also being aware of its potential risks.
Thank you to all of our panelists for your insights and perspectives on these important issues in children and adolescent literature. It's clear that there are many complex challenges facing young readers today, but by working together and having open and honest conversations, we can help ensure that young people have access to literature that is both engaging and age-appropriate, while also promoting diversity and freedom of expression. Thank you for joining us for this panel discussion.